What up? What's good? What's good? No, I'm about to talk about how, like, high school or school in general, but mainly like high school. Like, when you're a kid or when you're in high school, like, the way they tell you shit, and it's just like, it's so, I don't know, I think it's dumb. Like, I hated high school, really. Like, it was just like, I don't know. Like, it was a bunch of bullshit. And everybody says that. Okay, we all know that. But it was like, the only thing they wanted you to do was like focus on getting some specific, like, going a specific route, which was like I never wanted to do, and like a lot of dudes I know, people I know, want to do. And I really feel like school is more female focused. Like, I'm not like some fucking weirdo misogynist motherfucker or anything, but like I really feel like it's like that. And like, school is like it's like centered around more like a woman's need than it is a man. Like they always told you, oh, go be a doctor or be like a writer or something, or like these specific jobs, like a lawyer. I'm just like not everybody wants to do that. A doctor, lawyer, engineer. And then, like, honestly, most people would hate those jobs, I think. I'm just being me personally. I don't think I'd want to be a doctor. Like, you know, a lot of dudes I know, they didn't want to, like, I don't want to be no fucking lawyer. Like, okay, why do you want people to be that? Because there's money. It's like everything's about money. But like, I feel like they'd help a lot of people out if they, like, instead of just forcing these three principles down your throat, doctor, lawyer, engineer. Like, why doesn't school encourage people to be like a fire? Like, I never heard a teacher say, "Oh, be a firefighter." Like, that's something I actually like consider sometimes. Like, I'd be a firefighter. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, school's like, it's so focused on like, oh, you got to try and become rich or something and get in the rat race. It's like, I've never heard a teacher say, oh, you can be a firefighter, you can be a plumber, you can be an electrician, a police officer. Like, none of these things. And I'm just like, don't we need like all those things I just named are all essential parts of society. Like, without them, how, like, those are like essential jobs. Now, as a lawyer, really, like, essential, I'd say a firefighter is more important than a lawyer, right? I mean, he saves lives. A lawyer saves lives too from prison, but like, I think if we didn't have a corrupt society, then we wouldn't need lawyers. But that's a whole nother topic. But it's just like, I always noticed that it's like there was always some teacher like encouraging, like, oh, you go to college and all this other bullshit. And I'm like, why do you push this? Why do you push this so hard? Why don't you ever give them any other options? Like, I really think instead of high school, you should be able to go pick like a trade school, like in 14. So by the time you're 18, you already have a job skill. You can enter the workforce, like plumbing, electricity, construction. I mean, firefighting, police officer, etc. Like, it's like, I don't know. And then, like, I was an athlete in high school, and the other athletes was like, oh, you can't do that forever and all this other shit. It was just like, well, what's wrong with doing what I want to do? Like, doing whatever I feel like high school is like doing what you wanted to do was just like, they would just hate on you for it. Like, and there's so many jobs out there that you don't know about, that, like, because they only push like, oh, you gotta be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or some BS. It's just like, well, first of all, like, why do I want to do that? What if I don't want to do that? Like, I don't know. I think it's a lot of BS. The teachers are they're brainwashing you, really. Like, and again, what's wrong with being like having one of those jobs I just mentioned, like a firefighter or, like I said, a plumber or something? Like, don't we need those too? Don't you need those just as much as anything else? Really, you need the grocery store guy who packs your bags and shit and checks out your food as much as you need the engineer or the doctor. Like, because if you don't have him, who's going to run the grocery store? If you don't have the restaurant worker, who's going to cook your food when you go out to eat in the restaurant? And you can say, well, that's not essential. Like, it is essential, though. Where are you going to eat your food from? Because you don't know how to grow your own food, which is by design. But I mean, like, it's school was just so much bullshit. Like, they ain't teach us shit. They bring, like, it was just so much crap. Like, why do I need to know what time George Washington went to bed the night before he died? Like, the fuck does that got to do with me? Like, why do I need to know that? Why do I give a fuck? Because I don't remember. I don't really care. If I wanted to know, I could look it up. Not only on the internet, but on a book. Like, then I remember I said that in class, and the teacher was like, well, what if you don't have the internet one day? Then I really wouldn't give a fuck, and I probably don't need to know that information. Like, it's so dumb. Like, and the way I'm kind of view life, because like, if it's not affecting me eating, the roof over my head, or like my livelihood, like me being alive, then really it's probably not that important. Like, it's just like, does it really matter? Kind of like how, like, a woman, like, it's okay, it sounds kind of messed up, but like, really, if a girl breaks up with me or stops talking to me, it doesn't really affect, like, I really don't care, because I'm still eating, I'm still have a roof over my head, I'm assuming. You never know. And I'm still alive. So, like, what does it matter to me whether a bitch leaves or not? That's how I think about things. It's probably because of how I was raised. Like, I didn't have a very good upbringing. Like, it was, like, rough, but not everybody thinks like that. But that's just how I think, which I think is a good mindset. Sun's up. Nah, but yeah, and I was just like, I never understood it. And teachers, it was just like, I feel like a lot of dudes would have benefited from that too. Like, because like, not everybody is just meant to sit down all day and sit and listen or take order. Like, it's like some dudes are meant, like, especially dudes, like I said, I think it's female centered, because women can sit there all day and like, they just don't care. Like, I'm probably sure a lot of these low test dudes are too, but I think this would have helped out a lot of dudes, like, who, you know, especially like in the black community, like, we're not, like, we got a lot of energy. We're not just meant to sit on our ass all day and take orders and write shit down. Like, some of us need to be out using our body, using our hands, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like society demonizes that. Like you want me to sit at a desk all day? First of all, what makes you think that's healthier than being out in the field working? Like, oh, well, you're just gonna tear your body up. How is, like, using my hands every day gonna tear my body up? If anything, that makes my body, yeah, it's gonna help me doing physical activity. I mean, as long as it's not too laborious, like, I'm not, like, breaking my knees, you know, lifting boxes all day. But, like, if I want to use my hands to be an electrician or to fix cars, like, what's wrong with that? Like, I had a lot of friends who wanted to be mechanics, but we wasted our time sitting around learning about a weirdo Shakespeare story that none of us give a fuck about. Like, why the fuck do we have to learn about Shakespeare? Like, it's just retarded. Like, Shakespeare and his Romeo and Juliet, like, it's like I still remember that shit. Like it's a stupid ass story, and I was just like, what the fuck? Why the fuck do we have to learn this? And it was written in, like, you could barely read it. It was like some ancient English shit. I was just like, well, what is the point of this? It's literature. Like, what? How's that gonna help me make money and support my family in the future? Like, if I have a kid right now, like, how's the story of Romeo and Juliet gonna help me buy diapers and formula for my baby? Like, exactly. See what I'm talking about? And I'm just, like, thinking about it, like, really, like, and, like, I really think society shouldn't be set up to wherever, like, you shouldn't have to go to college. You shouldn't have to be successful, like, which you don't, but, like, it shouldn't be like some big trial, like, an error thing, like, if I fail, I'm on the street type shit. If you don't go to college, like, to make it seem like, it's like, why can't there be an alternative route that's, like, a lot easier than, like, going in thousands of dollars of debt going to school? Like, it's just like, it's set up for you to fail. Like I said, especially as a man, like, I don't know, like, as a man, you get, when you're 18, 19, you get this feeling like you want to go out on your own. You want to go out and do your own thing. When you're in college, like, I've been to college, and I'm in college, and it's like, it feels like you're, like, still a kid. It's just like you're living on this campus, and it's just like I feel like I'm a fucking kid. Like, I want my own crib. I want to do my own thing. I don't want to have to report to class and all this other crap. Like, Now women are different. Like they're fine with that. Like I said, women are fine with sitting in their house all day, or sitting at a desk 24 like all day, just sitting there, like listening to you give them orders and all this other stuff. I mean, it's just like usually most dudes I know who are like not the weirdo who sits in his computer jerking off all day. They're not. We don't want to sit there and just like sit there listening to some dude or some woman talk. I'm like, shut up. I don't want to hear this. I want to do something. I want to go be active, and that's just natural. That's in our nature. It's genetics. Like, we didn't get here to this point in time for sitting around behind a desk. You know, school has only been a thing for the past 100 years. The modern day school system. Previous to that, we didn't get here to this point in civilization by sitting around at a desk, like listening to somebody talk about what they believe in. Like I say, in the past, you were out figuring out the world on your own. You're out doing things. You're out taking things over, learning, creating things, not sitting around listening to what someone else had to say, like 8 hours of your day. And I always thought this too, like, imagine if all those years of high school, all those hours, 8 hours a day, every day, imagine if I worked those hours. Imagine how much money I'd have. Even a minimum wage job. Imagine the money I'd have by the time I was 18 and I could invest in something. Or just do whatever I wanted with, like buy a car, buy a house. If I worked from 14 to 18 instead of going to school 8 hours a day. And you don't remember detention and out of school suspension, in school suspension, all those other hours, detention, like it's just like, imagine what I could have done with those hours. Imagine the skill I could have learned. But no, I was sitting in school learning the quadratic formula, the Pythagorean theorem, y equals mx plus b, mitochondria is a powerhouse of a cell, and Romeo is a simp. Like, it's just like, what the fuck was all that, the point of all that? Indoctrination. I mean, I don't know, people think this is just crazy talk, and it's not. It's like, really, like, if you actually are not a bot, you don't, you think about it for a little bit, then you realize what I'm saying is true. Like, it's not just crap from a crackhead talking, like a guy down the street or something. Most of the shit you learn in school is just nothing. None of it's relevant. Like, when I turned 18, there was so much shit like I had to do. I was just like, wait, what? Like how do you do this and that? Like, credit score and shit. And I was just like, I didn't know any of this shit. I was like, what? Like, my mom didn't teach me anything, and I didn't have a dad to teach me anything. So it's just like, I was just like, I'm still figuring shit out now. But I was just like, what is it? Like, what do you mean? Like, I walked into the car dealership. Like, what do you mean I don't have a credit score? Like, can't I just pay for the car? Like, no, you gotta have credit history and like a bunch of other bullshit. And I was just like, what? How do I get credit? You gotta have previous credit. You gotta get a credit card. And I was just like, how do I get that? You gotta have credit history. Like, I'm like, well, how do I get a credit history without a credit? You gotta have a credit card. And I'm like, what? And like, dude, like, what am I supposed to do? I'm just like, I was just confused. I'm like, so this is like what? Like, this is all this shit. And I'm just like, what? I don't know. It's a lot of madness. I mean, like, school. Like, the only thing I liked about high school was the sports, girls, and my friends. Like, that's it. Like, I liked it. I could play sports, and it was fun, like, for free. There were a bunch of girls around. Like, I could just talk to, like, any of them, and there were a bunch of them. And then my friends I got to see every day. Like, and the bus just took me there to see them. Like, that was it. And also, we got free lunch, and I like that. I like the free food. Nothing else. I was just like, fuck all the other shit, man. Like, what? Like what? Like, that's the only thing I like. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, they're like, what about all this, the education? Like, I don't remember anything. And I don't care to. Like, I think it was all bullshit. And it's not helped me make any money. Like, all the jobs I've worked, none of it has had anything to do with anything I learned in school. I doubt any of it will. Yeah, I think it's like all a scam. Like, it's all a trap. Especially for like men. Like, I feel like as a dude, like, it's just like they're really setting us up for failure. Especially like in the black community too. I think Because I went to like an all black school, like it's like segregation still exists in the U.S. low key, and it was just like the teachers were just looking at us like we were just savages. I'm just there like, dude, I just want to graduate and get out of here. Like it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't know. Teachers don't really give a fuck. The school doesn't give a fuck about you. I don't know. I think it was a lot of wasted time, for sure. And then they give you the diploma. And it doesn't mean anything. Like it doesn't mean anything. I mean, I can't walk into any institution and be like, well, I have this, and then be like, well, congrats. Everybody else has that too. So, anything else? I'm just like, well, no. That's what I spent the last 4 years of my life doing. And then you're just like, well, we don't care. And they're like, fuck off. And they're like, go spend 4 more years at this organization to get something that a bunch of people already have too, and maybe you'll get the job for the same wage that McDonald's workers getting right now. So I'm just like, well, why not just go work there? Well, you have a better title working here, and bitches and your family will like it more. I mean, that's legit what's going on. It's just sad. Like, you get something that everybody else gets, and just like, congrats. What's next? Still ain't shit. Still broke. Still don't got no money. It's all crap. Like, you're like, high school really doesn't like do shit for you. School in general. I really think college is a bunch of BS too, but I mean, it can help you out more. But like the debt thing, it's just like a trap. Like, I don't know. But it's like really they have it set up to where there is almost no other way unless you go through extreme difficulty and struggle to succeed, unless you follow what they want, you do what they want, you go into the system. Like, it's like you have to be part of the system. I'm just like, fuck. Like, it's really how they have it set up. And then afterwards you work, and it's just like, now you're working, you're doing what high school prepared you for. Spend 8 hours of your day to work for them and make money for some rich billionaire who's gonna live on his yacht, not pay you shit, and yeah, for the rest of your life, and spend the rest of your day getting your sleep and food in for the next day to recharge and bust your ass for them some more. That's why, like, I don't believe, don't work hard at a job, dude. Don't work hard at a job, and don't work hard in school. Okay, I'm not saying fail all your classes, but do what you need to do to get by, and that's it. Don't waste your extra stress and time, because, like, really it don't mean shit. It's all superficial. And like those kids who are like those valedictorians and the 4.0 and shit like that, that doesn't mean nothing. Like, nobody gives a fuck. Like, I've never been with a girl who was I was never been with a girl who asked me, well, what was your GPA in high school? Like, no bitch gives a fuck. Like, no woman will ever ask you that. Like, just like, I don't give a fuck what a bitch's GPA is. Not that, like, that's the only thing you can consider that, but no job gives a fuck about that. Like, really, like, I'm just, the moral of the story is it doesn't matter. Like, it's all BS. And, like, there's nothing wrong with focusing on what you really want to do in life, whether that's like YouTube, sports. Like, there's nothing wrong with whatever you want to do. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to, like, I remember I used to draw when I was younger. I was pretty good at it. I mean, I probably still could be if I get back into it, but it's like, and I'd be like, I want to do art, and teachers would be like, well, you're not gonna make any money doing that, and my family would be like, well, you're not gonna make any money doing that, and I'm like, well, what? I just like drawing things. Like, I like to sketch, and then they were like, well, there's no money in art. There's no money in sketching. Well, what's wrong with me doing what I want to do, regardless of whether there's money in it or not? Like, them value money so much that it's like, you being happy with yourself and your life is just like, it's out the window. There's no money involved. But that's what school teaches you too. It's just like only money, only the holy trinity, which is engineering, doctor, or lawyer, money, money, money. Like, and then, like you said, you kill some kid's dreams who was actually good at something, and like, oh well, There's no money in that. You can't do that. Like, you can't only take art classes. Like, why not? Like, why do I have to take math? Like, I don't want to do math. I want to draw. Like, or let's say you want to do sports. Like, why can't you just do sports? Because there's no, like, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that this degree is going to make me money either. So what's the difference? Oh, you can fall, like, no, there's, like, I know a lot of people who are broke or working at McDonald's with degrees. I've worked in warehouse with people with engineering degrees because they couldn't get jobs because of COVID, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it was just like the point is always disproven. Like, that's why I say moral of the story is do what the fuck you want to do regardless of what everybody else got to say. Peace out.